There is a bill being proposed that would ban corn in the United States, and this is dangerous for women. Now, bear with me because I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive. I think a lot of people believe that banning corn might actually be a good thing. It's doing a lot of detriment to young people and really warping their minds and their concepts of consent and normal, healthy sexuality. First of all, a lot of women are going to be out of work, and they are going to be the women who are some of the most vulnerable people in society. So we're not just talking about people who literally exchange sex acts for money, as you might be thinking. We're talking about strippers. We're talking about cam girls. Like so many other things this administration has done and continues to do, this is ultimately going to be about controlling women.
Let's hold on for a second. Let's stop there, right? Imagine that we live in a world where somebody is trying to justify one of the most deplorable things and saying that the reason that the administration is trying to ban it is just so they can control women in their bodies. What do you think happens inside of these strip clubs? What do you think that happens after the club closes? I'll do you one better. What do you think happens after everybody goes home and they see a person that they don't necessarily care for and they want to set him up? Um, Imagine a den of sin, right? Honestly, like if you just want to break it down, like imagine a den of sin. How do you think that the majority of these women make their money? You think that everything is just cut and dry and it's regulated and everything is taken care of and it's on top of things? This is insane, bro. Let me hear some more what you got to say.
Because watch how quickly, if this passes, they're going to start changing the definition of what corn is. First, it's going to be, graphic sexual images of sexual acts taking place. And then it's going to be women being topless on any social media. And then it's going to turn into shirts that are see-through that women are wearing. And then it's going to turn into skirts that are too short. And do you see where I'm going with this? They don't want us to be able to exercise any sort of freedom when it comes to what parts of our bodies we show and to whom. So right now, maybe it's like, okay, well, they're trying to ban this thing that could be really harming the children. But eventually, your backless dress that you posted a picture of yourself wearing on Instagram is
Women will die on the hill of my body, my choice. I need to be able to show off my ass. I got to do the thing that's the worst for society. They will let everything go. They will sacrifice their children. They will sacrifice the sanctity of their marriage. They will sacrifice their salvation. They will sacrifice men. They will sacrifice everything that they can find in the world just to be able to show off their body to people that they know is going to do the worst thing to them if they get their hands on them in the first place. It is deplorable. It's despicable. It's just what happened? What happened to the women in society today? I'm just so taken aback by the idea that you guys are willing to die on this hill to put your ass out there in the street, that you are sitting there saying, hey, wait a minute. We need to be against this bill that allows for us to show the best parts of ourselves that's supposed to be reserved for our husbands and embarrassing ourselves in the face of our children and making us look bad before God and saying that we need to be able to do this. No, 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 no. It's not because they're trying to protect society and they know that we've been so distracted and we're so distraught and men have an exceptional amount of or inability to really be able to pay attention because everything is sexualized and nowhere that you can turn. I mean, to make it a much harder barrier to entry for people to be able to look for or to be distracted by things that's not best for them. And I ain't even just talking about men. I mean kids, young people. For the longest, for decades, it has been so easy for somebody to just get on the internet, get on a browser, get on a phone now. You could take it with you. I mean, I remember when I was coming up, you had to do the walk of shame. You had to do the walk of shame. You know what the walk of shame is? The walk of shame is they had these things called video stores. No, not just the blockbusters, the local ones. Blockbuster came and they put the bigger or the smaller video stores out of business. Blockbuster to video stores was Walmart to the mom and pop grocery store, the mom and pop butcher shop, or the mom and pop bread and pastry store. That's what it was, okay? That's what Blockbuster was. Netflix is like Amazon on steroids, right? Delivery everywhere, Prime, all of that is nothing that you can't have access to. But think about it more or less from the video store's perspective, right? If you wanted to go to the nudie store, guess what you had to do? You had to do the walk of shame because they had all of the regular videos. Most of the regular videos also had this private room that was in the back that also had all of the nasty videos. It was in the XXX room, right? And so you would just browse and you couldn't get in there if you was under a certain age. And so once you became of a certain age, let's say 18 years old, 19 years old, whatever. I don't remember if it was 21 or 18. I think it was 18. 18 years old, right? And then you would look over and you would see the guy, and he wasn't really that confident, so he made sure he wore extra clothing, always had a hat on, maybe a couple little sunglasses, and then he would just slip on right into the nudie store. And then when you went into not the nudie store, the nudie room, when you went into the room, everybody tried to avoid eye contact. It was the quietest room inside of the store because nobody wanted to know that the other person is. I mean, everybody know that everybody is there with them. And if you really wanted to seem like it's not really that big deal, then you usually had your girl with you. You know what I'm saying? You had your little thing, and then you just like, yeah, pick what you want or whatever, not a big deal. And she fronting, she trying to act like, oh, what is this one? Oh, maybe we could try this one. This one seemed a little safe. And she acting like she don't know what the hell is going on. And so it was a game. You know what I'm saying? It was a big game that was being played because there was shame. That's really what it comes back down to. There was shame associated with all of the different things that happened, and it kept things in check because people knew that they couldn't get away with doing certain things, and if they did, then society would be on their ass. Law enforcement on their ass. Like you couldn't just get arrested for doing something that you wasn't supposed to do and then end up on the naughty list. The naughty list now, because again, back in the 90s, 80s babies, 90s maybe, they didn't have the offenders list. You know what I'm saying? But now, as of the recording of this video, everything is rampant. I mean, we're glorifying women that get bust down by 1,000 guys all at the same time. And it's almost like the fetishes is getting worse and they get more ridiculous and crazy. And now that we have legislators that is trying to restore order and say, maybe we crossed the line in the immorality just a little bit too much. I mean, if you're going to do what you're going to do, cool, but we're not going to make it cool to do it. We now have to control it because we don't want our children to be influenced by things that's going on in society. And I'm sure that there's other reasons associated with it, but that's the way I interpret the laws, and I don't see anything wrong with it. If you want to do something and you got to jump over the barrier to entry, and we're not going to make it so easily accessible to children. It's very much that simple, right? But now, as usual, I mean, something that I never thought that women would actually try to defend against, they are now against these laws that prevent people from being able to be easily accessible to the worst things. And I'm telling you that I think that that's one of many reasons why you have so much ED, you have erectile dysfunction, you have so much desensitivity because people are overly freaked out. We watching a Diddy trial right now, and they just went all the way across the board. But women, leave it up to women to defend the most immoral thing. This is one of the reasons why we don't need these type of leaders inside of society, because I don't see anything wrong with preventing people, especially below a certain age, or if you're above a certain age, then you got to go ahead and do that electronic walk of shame. You got to create an account where the government can know who you are, and then they'll know what your search history is. Or you could just get a woman and get married and then do what you want to do in your bedroom because the bedroom is undefiled. But that's just me. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I always like to link back to the content creator just to give them credit. Teach Hanley 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. These people are deplorable.